Titus Annius Milo Papianus was a Roman political agitator, the son of Gaius Papius Celsus, but adopted by his maternal grandfather, Titus Annius Luscus. In 52 BC he was prosecuted for the murder of Publius Claudius Pulcher, and was unsuccessfully defended by his friend Marcus Tullius Cicero in the speech Pro Malone. Political life. Milo was a supporter of Pompey and the Optimates, and organized bands of armed slaves, mercenaries, and gladiators in opposition to Clodius, who supported Pompey's rival Julius Caesar and the Populares. The two opposing factions clashed in the streets of Rome between 57 and 52 BC. Milo was tribune of the plebs in 57 BC. He took a prominent part in recalling Cicero from exile, whom Clodius had gotten exiled the prior year. On the 23rd of January 57 BC, Clodius tried to use a force of gladiators to block a move to recall Cicero from exile, but Milo arrested Clodius' gladiators. He was subsequently attacked by Clodius' gangs and attempted to prosecute Clodius for violence. He was unsuccessful at doing so. Later that year he tried to prosecute Clodius again, but Clodius escaped this by being elected aedile in 56, thus being immune from prosecution. Death of Clodius in 53 BC, Milo was candidate for the consulship and Clodius was standing for the praetorship. There was a breakdown of order at Rome and the rival factions rioted in the streets. The elections were void because of the excessive use of the tribune's veto, and 52 BC began with an interregnum. On January 18, 52 BC, Milo, Clodius, and their respective gangs met on the Appian Way at Bovili. Milo was on the way to Lanuvium in order to appoint a priest. Conflicting stories claim Clodius was either peacefully heading to Rome after receiving news a friend had died, or else was lying in wait for Milo. The result was a pitched battle that ensued, and Clodius was killed by Milo's slaves. Trial and death. The followers of Clodius carried his body to the Senate house, the Curia Hostilia, and set fire to it. In the ensuing unrest, the Senate called on Pompey to become sole consul. He set about restoring order partly by force but also by the legal means now at his disposal. He passed a law regarding electoral bribery and violence and charged Milo under it. This may have been to placate Clodius's supporters, who would not be soothed even after setting fire to the Curia. Pompey hand-picked Milo's jury, and the presiding magistrate, Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus, was Pompey's client. Milo was defended by Marcus Tullius Cicero, Marcus Caelius Rufus and Marcus Marcellus. Under Pompey's new procedural rules, the trial should have lasted 5 days, with the summing up for the defense and the verdict on the 5th. However, on the first day, Gaius Corsinius Schola appeared as a witness against Milo and described the deed in such a way as to portray Milo as a cold-blooded murderer. This worked up the Clodian crowd, who in turn terrified the advocate on Milo's side, Marcus Marcellus. As he began his questioning of the witnesses, the Clodian crowd drowned out his voice and surrounded him. On subsequent days, Pompey brought armed cohorts to keep order. On the final day of the trial, Cicero was to give a closing speech to try and prevent Milo from being condemned. Instead, he broke down and was intimidated by the Clodian mob and either did not finish or did not present the speech well and in the style for which he was renowned. Milo was convicted by 38 votes to 13, fled Rome, and went into exile at Massilia. His property was sold by auction. During his absence, Milo was prosecuted for bribery, unlawful association, and violence, for all of which he was successfully convicted. Cassius Dio states that when Cicero had finished writing up his speech, he sent a copy to Milo in exile. Milo wrote back that it was lucky for him that the same speech had not been made in court. because otherwise he would not now be enjoying the delicious red mullet of Massilia. Milo later joined Marcus Caelius Rufus in 48 in rebellion against Caesar, but he died at the 48 BC siege of Comsa, near Thea in Lucania, killed by a stone thrown from the city walls. In popular culture, Titus Annius Milo appears as a recurring character in John Maddox Roberts' SPQR series of novels. These historical mysteries are presented as memoirs of fictional Decius Caius Aelius Metellus the Younger. Milo is a trusted friend of Metellus. Milo also appears as a character in A Murder on the Appian Way, last seen in Massilia and A Mist of Prophecies. In the Roma Sub Rose, a series of historical mystery novels by Stephen Saylor, Milo appears in Con Iggulden's book The Field of Swords, the third in the series Emperor, as a street gangster who wages a private war with Publius Clodius. Milo is a character in Colleen McAuliffe's Caesar. He also appears in the book Street Fighter, son of Spartacus in a plot to assassinate Julius Caesar.